Hello. In this next series of videos, I'm going to show you how to mix music in Pro Tools. This is going to go a little bit more in depth than the intro to mixing session in my Audio 1 class. And this first video is just going to focus on the two different ways to import audio. So here I have a blank Pro Tools session and I have a folder of audio files, and I'm just going to drag them in. And there they are. Before I click anything, I want to make sure I don't deselect the tracks or the clips. I'm going to use my grabber tool to move them up to the beginning of the timeline. It is very important when importing audio files that they all go to the beginning of the timeline, or whatever point you want them to go. We'll cover dropping audio into other places later in another video. But the main thing is you want to make sure that the audio files are lined up properly. Now, something to consider here is that these files are all WAV files. So that's a native file format for Pro Tools. Both WAV and AIFF are native file formats, so they can drag right in. And if they're at the same sample rate and bit depth as my session settings, then they won't have to be converted, and they won't necessarily have to be copied into the audio files folder. So Pro Tools can reference those files anywhere they are on your hard drive or a connected drive. But if those files move or get deleted, then you're out of luck because your files will be missing. So one thing I like to do is go to my Pro Tools settings, also called preferences in this box. And I'm going to go to the processing tab here, you can see. And there's a little checkbox and it says automatically copy files on import. And I have that checked off for my situation because I'm teaching and I'm always trying to give files out to students and stuff. So I want to make sure that the audio files are in the session folder. And with that box checked off, they are. If that box was not checked off and the files didn't need to be converted, they would just kind of stay in their first location, and Pro Tools would kind of know where they are. But if they have to be converted from a different file format like MP3 or some other file format that's not native to Pro Tools, then those copies will be made and it'll be converted. It's also worth noting that you can't upscale audio. So if you have a WAV file, it's lossless and you're going to retain all the sonic information. And then when you convert it to an MP3, a lot of that information goes away. It's a lossy format. If you bring an MP3 in and it converts it to WAV, it doesn't retrieve the lost information. It's just a WAV version of the lossy file. So, like audio quality is like a one-way street. It can only get worse. All right, let's look at the other way. I'm going to delete these tracks by right-clicking and choosing delete. Because they're all selected, it will delete all of them at once. And then I'm going to clear my clip list. And it's asking me if I want to delete, move to trash, or remove. Always remove. You don't want to delete them from your hard drive. And then I'm just going to show you the other way to import audio. And I'm going to go to File, Import, Audio. This dialog box pops up. It happens to be pointing at the right folder. And so again, I will hit Command A to select all. And then I'm going to add. I could choose add all, I suppose. And then because I have carefully set my session to be the same sample rate and bit depth, I don't need to apply SRC, which is sample rate conversion. It's just going to go in natively. And this is good. A lot of times, if there's a problem with the files, it could be at this stage. Let's say that you have files at 44.1 kilohertz and your session is at 48 kilohertz, and you don't apply sample rate conversion, then the key and the speed can be off. So if you ever opened up a session and that you recorded and you're like, whoa, what's happening? I sound slower and lower. It's probably a sample rate conversion error. So just watch out for that. Hit open, and this box pops up. Destination, new tracks, session start. There you go. You could also put them on the clip list. So let's say you already had a session and you were just adding files to it, but you didn't know exactly where you wanted them to go in your timeline. You could put them on the clip list and then deal with them later. And boom, there you go. Importing audio in Pro Tools, super easy.